Now, Bitcoin has the RSI in the negative region. Again, it's probably going to pull up here to the center line and probably put in a counter trend rally. We have the 10 below the 20 period moving average. The red line is the 10, the 20 is the blue. The 10 is now dropping below the 50. So again, I think this is a counter trend rally back to the 50 period, back towards these moving averages, maybe overthrowing them. And then I think we resume the decline and come down here into this area. We may end up back testing the double bottom breakout, possible. But again, just something worth paying attention to. We have the RSI, though, still in the negative region. We have the MACD in the negative region. The stochastic is turning up at extreme. So again, we're likely going to get a bigger counter trend. But then the sell-off is probably going to continue unless my signals, which are correct, begin to turn back to bullish. I think you're going to come back to the 100 period moving average. And why do I say that? Bitcoin follows the 100 period moving average. If you follow my work, you know that I believe that. You know it's true because it does. And again, we're likely going to test the 100 period, which is at the 38.2, or more likely drop below it and move closer to the 50% retracement of the advance. We haven't even reached the 38.2 fib. I think we will likely at least reach that. So again, these are bearish signals. This is likely a counter trend. In order for Bitcoin to be bullish, you got to get back above the moving averages. You got to have the 10 and 20 back above the 50. The 10 is now dropping below 50. You got to get the RSI back into positive territory. Again, when we bottomed out here, we got the RSI. We had the breakout of the downward trend. We had the breakout of overhead resistance. We saw the RSI go into the positive region, remain there up until right here, when we saw this sell off, and then we went negative, positive, negative, sideways, and then now we're negative. So this is bearish, and that's why I'm still bearish. This is just nothing more than a bounce, in my opinion, unless my signals begin to turn back to bullish. So I think you're going to stall once we reach this 50% level on the RSI, or maybe we even overthrow it. Notice in the decline, we dropped below it, and you remained in the negative region on the RSI below 50. The pull-ups to the 50 level were where the counter trends were. And again, it wasn't until you formed the bullish divergence that you had the bottom. So to here, I think that will likely be the case. Now quickly, here's the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin. And I want to show you with nothing on this chart, just so you can see it. We've got the lower high here. We tried to bounce off the 50 period in the daily time frame here. We did do it successfully here, but you got a lower high. Now we got another lower high. We halted the advance at the cloud. The 50 tried to get above the 200 period, but it dropped right back below it. And when we rebounded right here, we halted at the cloud, the 200 period moving average just above that 50 period. The 50's gotten the death cross. So again, this is bearish. As long as this remains, Bitcoin's going to go lower. So again, I want to put the odds in our favor, and as long as we had the bullish golden cross over here, right here, didn't draw that very well. Hang on, right there, we had the bullish golden cross. 50 got back above the 200. We found support at the cloud and the 50 period. Now we've lost the 50 period. We found support at the 200 just under it here, and our 50 period in the daily. You get a lower high, lower low. Now these things are resistance. The 200, the cloud, and the 50 period, as they were support up here, now they've turned resistance. Look at Pring parameter. Pring parameter got a lower high. Again, over here, we marked the divergence with the top. We talked about that back at the time. Told you we still may have a shot at one more peak, but we didn't. I talked about the lower high scenario too. To get the higher high, I was completely wrong. I told you I could be wrong about that. Always honest with you. I always tell you what I think. So I flipped bearish, and again, I was watching all of this, and now we've seen Pring parameter go negative. We've lost the 250 as we get the death cross. This is all bearish stuff. We're likely rallying back up here. Look at the 200 period in the cloud. They're up at around the 106,000 area or so, again near the 50 period moving average of about 105,000. If the rally can continue, this is likely where we're going to stall. We may not get that strong of a rally. We may try to hit these levels and slightly overthrow them. But again, I believe this is nothing more than a counter trend, and we're now in the negative region with Pring parameter telling me, hey, we're probably going lower. I talked about the Elliott wave count. Again, I told you this was my alternative count. I now believe this count is in play here. I think we've had the completion of wave 1 with these 5 legs, 5-leg push higher. I think you have a 5-leg push lower here for A, the blue count. Do you see this? Then I think you have an ABC for B. Do you see the blue count there? And I think we've got, this is what I talked about, the lower high. I told you I was looking for a lower high for wave 2. We got wave 1, wave 2. I think we're now in the extended wave 3, and maybe that is unfolding in 1, 2, maybe 3 is completing here. More likely it's still not done, but again, L8 wave of speculation. But I think you've got, you're going to have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then get a 4, and then get a 5. And maybe we, I've just marked it down here near this 91,000 area or so, 1,000 area to fill the gap with the futures at 91,000. I could be wrong. We may not go that far, but this is what I think is going on. And I think you have this larger A, B, C move. And we don't have a divergence with this bounce right here. So again, on the RSI, so it's likely not a bottom. It's likely a counter trend. And I remain bearish and I remain short on Bitcoin. The MACD is turning up, but it's still in the negative region. I mentioned putting parameters in the negative region as well. So again, this is likely just a counter trend rally. Everybody's saying it's a bottom. It's like just like they said up here, it's a breakout. People, the herd and the moo boys, they trade with their emotions, and that's why they make so many bad choices. Is because they trade with emotion, and you can't do that trading. Again, bearish death cross here. This tells me that, again, likely a counter trend, and we're likely going to go lower. The back and forth with the 50 crossing back below the 200, back above it. This told us we're going sideways. Now this is telling us we're likely in a downtrend. I don't think it's going to be too bad, though. Again, I think we're going to get this pullback, digest the 50% gain over here, and then I think we're going to resume the advance. If you like these signals, if you like my, just let me know that. If you could take a moment to support the channel. It takes a lot of time and effort to do this. I'm just sharing with you stuff I look at every day, the signals that I use to make my decisions trading Bitcoin. If you like that, and if you like this information, take a moment and support the channel. Anything helps. Most channels have sponsors, and that's how they're supported. I choose not to do that. I don't want to sell you anything. If you follow the link below, it'll take you to a secured site, and you can donate any amount you want or make it a recurring donation. If you do that, I thank you. Signals have helped me make a lot of money. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing. I'm sharing with you my signals and sharing with you why I'm doing what I'm doing based on my signals. If you like that, let me know if you want this information. I think my indicators are the best kept secret in crypto. If you think so too, please let me know that and support the channel. I really do need to hear from you. Let me know you want me to continue, that you want this information. Thank you for your consideration for that. Now, I was getting ready to make the video a little bit earlier, and then Iran attacked a U.S. military base in Qatar. So I had to watch news for a little while on that and see going on. Basically, Iran is trying to save face. Qatar was aware of this strike, and at them, it was addressed at the U.S. military base in Qatar. As you can see from the headline up here, U.S. crude oil is falling 7%. It's are shrugging all of this off. They're remaining calm. Bitcoin is rallying. Expect a rally, and I'll show you the signals, let you decide. My signals are still bearish, but again, as I posted X, formerly Twitter, I posted that, again, I'm getting signals that have suggested a bottom after Sunday's close. If you follow me on X, you know that I got a couple of those signals at Sunday's close. I've posted that more short-term bottoming signals were developing for the Monday session. We'll look at those signals in just a moment, so make sure you watch the video all the way through. This is Iran trying to save face, say that they struck the United States. Now, the question is, will the United States respond? And that's the $64,000 question. No casualties. So is the Trump administration just going to go, no skin off our nose? Iran's trying to still look like they are in control of what's going on to their own people. Again, there is still concerns that we may see an uprising, and that's when I say concerns, that's probably a good thing. Yeah, but again, I still believe that Israel is likely going to eliminate the Ayatollah before all of this is over. The president of Iran, we'll see what happens. They've already taken out the nuclear scientists. They've already taken out the high-ranking military personnel. That Israeli officials say that they're likely not going to allow the Ayatollah to continue to remain in power. So we'll see what happens. But warned you, this could be the United States getting involved in all this. This could be the catalyst for the larger correction that I've been warning about. I told you again that we were likely going to take out the support zone, that we were starting to see signals turn back to bearish. Talked about this lower high right here setting up again just before that, and the day that lower high was setting up, I told you we had likely set up a lower high to flip my trade, close long positions, and go short the swing side, a core position that I'm doing absolutely nothing with. I'm ignoring the short-term price fluctuation, so I still have a longer-term long position from the double bottom. Also playing the swing move, which I've closed that out and have gone short. Far that's playing out nicely. We've taken out the 50. We took out the support zone right here. We're trying to get back above the support zone. You got a possible bull flag here. I think it's more likely you're going to get a rally, a counter trend after the last, what is it? Let's see. 5 out of 6 days have been down. We had that reversal bar 7 days ago for the topping tail there. Again, I think that you're likely in a counter trend. Could be a bottom. My signals all start flipping back to bullish. I doubt it. Still think we're likely to reach the 200 and 100 period moving average. And near the 38.2 Fibonacci below that. And again, we're probably going to end up dropping below the 100 period moving average. That could take us down to the 50% retracement here at 91,000. There's a gap fill for the futures at that 91,000 area. We have our confirmation line of the double bottom here near 61.8 Fibonacci. That's at the 87,000 area. So as I keep saying, I think that the correction will likely end between 87,000 and 93,000 somewhere, 93,000 being just below our 100 period moving average. And again, that's right around the 95,000 area right now with the 8.2 Fibonacci. Again, I think it'll be a more shallow retracement, that the 38.2 or 50% retracement will likely be where Bitcoin bottoms. I think that will be into July. The advance will resume. Now, if my signals, which are correct, and again, I try to be obedient to my signals. I try to be disciplined. Sideways, I told you over here, there's still shot that we reached the 114,000 area, but I told you this could be it. I had topping signals here that if we end up getting a lower high, when we got the lower high again, I told you that was likely it, and I told you we were going to get another lower high here. We talked about that at the time. So short-term bearish, signals turn back to bullish. I will turn back to bullish because I have good indicators. Right now, we are attempting to rebound after breaching the support zone here, this low right here and this low right here. Again, this is likely a counter trend bounce, and we could go all the way to the 50 period or even try to overthrow it and then resume the decline. When we broke the 50 over here, we tried to get back above it, and then we broke down below it again, tried to get back above it, and again, tested it, and then we ended up getting the bigger drop. I don't think we get that big of a drop right there, but I do think we will end up getting a larger Fibonacci retracement, and in all likelihood, my signals begin to tell me otherwise. Right now, that is what it is suggesting. I think this bull flag, just like this bull flag, will likely end up, this bull flag right here ended up giving us a lower high. This right here will likely give us a lower high. We do have also this little tiny bullish falling wedge and produce a reversal. I think more likely we're in a counter trend. But if you follow me on X, I got some bottoming signals right after Sunday's closed. I posted that on X, again, formerly Twitter, at Charting Prodigy, which I expected a bounce, and I told you why. That seems to be correct. Bitcoin's back above 100,000 after dropping below it. Bitcoin is currently up 2.12%. And again, we've had this retaliation from Iran on a U.S. military base, no casualties. Apparently, the missiles were taken out, and the U.S. was aware that this was likely coming, and Qatar warned. And it looks like Iran is just trying to save face. The question now is, will the United States respond? Will things escalate, or will they choose to just let this go and be done with it, not further escalation? Iran is doing it in a way that they're trying to not escalate it The Trump administration allows them to get away with attacking a U.S. military base or not. We'll see. Just before, and they've let things go back in the Trump's first term. They took out the Iranian leader, so we'll see what happens this time around. We'll see if this escalates or not. But you got a possible, the bullish scenario would be you're forming a bull flag, and eventually that the sell-off, that's it. This is you're going to get a larger retracement. We haven't even gotten a test of the 200 yet. We haven't even gotten a 38.2 Fibonacci retracement. My guess is we will. Like I said, listen carefully. If my signals, which are correct, turn back to bullish, then again, then the sell-off could be a very shallow retracement. My guess is that's not going to be the case, but my signals are going to be correct. Again, this is what I think is going on. I think we've likely already started the bigger pullback. I think you're going to get this right shoulder right here. I don't think it's done here. Again, I think you're getting a counter trend rally that goes to the 50 or just beyond the 50 that'll likely give us another lower high. Again, we've talked about the two trend lines right here. And again, I told you these highs could be pointing to the next high. We didn't reach this trend line at 114,000. Told you we may not. But this trend line, we did reach it at 111,000. We overthrew it, hit 112,000. We got some topping signals there, but not all my signals signaled the top there. Told you with the bull flag here, the bounce off the 50, we still might reach that level. Watching the 13 count, and I was watching to see, do we get a lower high or do we try to go up there and get a higher high? We got the lower high. We got the 13 count completing. I told you again, that could be like over here. 13 count gave us a sell-off in December, marked the top. The 9 count marked the January top, and this is now marked the June top. Talked about this at great length and detail. We ended up canceling out the 9 count in the weekly time frame. I told you we had a shot at 114,000. Had some guy tell me, talking about Bitcoin being bearish, I thought you said we were going to go to 140. This guy, you got to pay attention. Again, I'm going to do whatever my signals say to do. Actually, this guy doesn't watch my videos, and he just follow. This is some guy saying this to me on X or formerly Twitter, misrepresenting my position. Again, I'm going to do whatever my signals say to do. If you want to be successful, don't be bullheaded and insist on you get your way. Oh, I insist this happens. I told you either scenario can happen. And again, I told you I would change my opinion if it looked like we were going to flip, and we did. I flipped over here with this lower high, and then the attempted rebound off the 50 again. We talked about right in here. And again, I told you we get a lower high, flip my position and close out the short and close out the long and go short, which I've done. This is a short-term trade. I'm a trader. Okay, I really don't care which way Bitcoin goes, up or down. I can make money either way. I really don't care. I'm holding a long-term long position that I think that Bitcoin will go much higher. Short position, but I'm also a trader, and I trade it back and forth. I tried to play wave one here. I did it, and I did it great. Again, called the day of the bottom. The 50% rally up here caught most of that move, or a good chunk of it. I'm short, trying to play the wave two because I believe that's what's going on. Dude not paying attention, trying to tell me I'm bullish when I've now flipped back to bearish. I do whatever my signals say because I have good indicators. I have the guts to tell you what I think. Most people don't do that. Most people predict things after they already happen. I told you I've been predicting this for a long time. I told you after it forms, the Moon Boys will predict this inverse head and shoulders pattern. They're not doing it. Once it's complete, then they'll do it. They're Johnny-come-latelys. I predict things before they happen. The Moon Boys predict things after they already happen. They never, ever see tops. They believe Bitcoin only goes up. Again, the herd, too, and the Moon Boys, again, at the tops, they get extremely bullish. At the bottoms, they get extremely bearish. They were extremely bullish up here, and that's why I told you it started increasing, that we've got this as a peak now. And so again, I flip back to bearish here. So far that is correct. I do think we're going to go lower. I think we're just getting a counter trend bounce rally. The Moon Boys and on social media, it's over, here we go. One thing I keep hearing is, oh, BlackRock's buying, Fidelity's buying, all these people are buying. Well, again, customers or whatever, the institutions, whatever, they're buying at the top. They told us, oh, they're buying, it's a breakout. That didn't stop Bitcoin from going lower, did it? Okay, that's why it's a bunch of hype. Okay, again, I told you the big institutions, whales, they want to buy Bitcoin on the cheap down here. They want another opportunity. They're going to keep accumulating it as it drops. the accumulation is not going to prevent it from dropping. Eventually, it will bottom out, in my opinion, probably in early to mid-July. I think you're going to bottom out here, and then I think we're going to finish this right shoulder. I think I'm going to be proven correct about this, but again, I remain short-term bearish. This was going to happen with either this trend line, rejection at this trend line, or rejection at this trend line. We didn't make it to that one, and again, I realized that that wasn't going to happen. I flipped back to bearish and acted accordingly, closing my long and going short. Signals tell me what's going on. I don't dictate to Bitcoin, you have to do this. I let the signals tell me what's happening. That's why I am a successful trader. This is what I think is happening. Our 13 count is playing out, which we've talked about at great length and detail back up at the top. Now, by the way, the 50 period is at around 105,000. Again, we could even overthrow that level. You can go up to the upper boundary of the that I'm about to show you. You can go to 110. I think you're going to get rejection around this 50 period moving average, and then again start moving down towards the 100 period, the pink line, the black line, the 200 period moving average. Now, I warned you going into the lower high that set up on June 16th that we'd likely get another lower high, and that I was going to flip the trade and close my long and go short. And again, I was correct. We did set up another lower high, and I told you with this lower high here, we now have another lower high. We are likely going to get a lower low. We now have it. We now have a lower high and a lower low. Again, we're probably in a counter trend. Unless all my signals begin to turn back to bullish, again, it's nothing more than a counter trend. Nothing goes straight down. Nothing goes straight up. And right now, everybody, it's a bottom. Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe a counter trend and my signals tell me a bottom is in. I get short-term bottoming signals. That could be a longer-term bottom if we form a bull flag. I think it's more likely it's just a counter-trend bounce and that we're going to resume and get a bigger sell-off. Again, amazing. We saw the signals turn bearish here after the December top, tried to flip it here in January, couldn't do it. Bars remained red, reaffirmed the bearish signal, flipped it right after the bottom here. Bars back to blue, back above the ribbon, reaffirmed the signal here with the bounce. Didn't reaffirm it here. We tried to bounce and it failed. And we're now back below the ribbon. So again, we're probably going to remain bearish as long as we remain below the ribbon here. Again, I'm expecting a bigger pullback. But absolutely incredible signals here. And I told you over here on the 16th about a lower high, and just before that, I told you I was now thinking we've likely already started the larger correction that I've been predicting. So my signals, we got the lower high on the 16th. On the 17th, we saw bars flip back to red. We closed below the ribbon. They're still red. Today's bars unassigned. We need to be below the ribbon. We're still going to continue to have red bars. Background turned red. Notice that. We got below the ribbon. We saw the background turn red. The bars are red, just like over here. Over here with the gray area, we tried to turn bearish with this low. It didn't happen. It was a warning sign, and then I warned you about that as well. I believe this is nothing more than a counter trend up here at the upper end of the ribbon. Well, right here, the lower end of the ribbon is just above the 50 period moving average. Again, around the 105,000 area. This is around the 106,000 area. The upper ribbon up here, rise up into it as we did over here, take us closer to 109 or 110,000. Maybe we get more of a feeble rally and just resume the decline. We'll be watching. We have bottoming signals show up on Sunday. My guess is it's just a short-term bottom. You'll see those in a moment. This is the chart that I posted on X on Sunday right after the close. I posted this chart and told you I expected a rally. If you want to follow me on X, here it is at Charting Prodigy on X. But again, we got this signal, and I got a few others that were suggesting a bounce, and that's why I posted the chart to let you know that I think we have a short-term bottom in, and my signals are suggesting that. Notice the signal turned bearish at the top over here. I told you at the time that's either telling us we're going to have a pullback or a reversal for a bigger pullback. We're getting the bigger pullback now, and we talked about both of those possibilities with that signal. Again, marks corrections, mark the bottom over. The signals, the circles here, When momentum is getting tired, when we're probably going to get a counter trend or a reversal that could be a change in momentum or a complete reversal. Right now we're getting a reversal signal and that we're getting a bigger pullback. These other signals were just, counter trends as we had here and over here and over here, but then it marked the bottom here. Oftentimes the signals can mark tops and bottoms, tops over here, the bottom here, and over here. Now again, I've talked about on X, sometimes you get these little bounces and then you get more. So again, we may get a bounce and we may see more at lower levels of these signals warning of a bottom. You might get a couple of them. What we had over here at the top, you had one and then you seeing back-to-back signals. Over here, same thing, back-to-back signals. See that here, we could get a bounce and go. The bounce may be lower than I think, but again, I have the guts to tell you what I think. I think we're going to the 50-period moving average around the 105,000 area, even trying to overthrow it. Here we are back above 100,000, got a bottoming tail. I don't think it's a bottom. I could be wrong on that. If my signals, which are correct, all begin to turn back to bullish. I think again, we dropped below the orange line. Then we lost the purple line. We're probably rallying back up to the orange line here. And again, that's an agreement towards that 50-period moving average, towards the 105,000 area or 106,000 area, maybe a little higher, deeper into the ribbon I've shown you. But again, the orange line, if it drops below the purple line, you're going to get a bigger sell-off. Over here, when we lost the orange line, we lost the purple line. We tried to rally back up to the purple line. It failed. Then we tried to rally back up to them again, to the orange and purple line as they got across. It failed. And then we tried it again here and overthrew the purple line, but ended up getting a bigger sell-off. I think you're going to rally up here into this area and then probably get the bigger sell-off. And I've got warning signs here of either a major bottom right here or a short-term bottom. My guess is it's a short-term bottom. But if my signals, which are correct, turn back to bullish, then it could mark a bottom. My guess is that's not going to be the case. I guess to tell you what I think, again, I could be wrong. I was right about the bottom, right about the rally. Told you right here we're going to get a sell-off, but I told you I didn't know. I tried to tell you what I think, and I told you I thought we'd still go to 114,000. Told you that might be a top. Changed my mind if it was, because again, we started going sideways. This was taking too long. So again, I changed my mind and I came to the conclusion that we've likely already completed wave one. We're now in the wave two, the bigger pullback. I have the guts to tell you what I think. I'm not going to always be right, but I try to be honest with you and tell you what I think. Right now, I'm telling you, I don't think this is a bottom. I think it's a counter trend rally. I could be wrong on that if my signals turn back to bullish. The trick is not to be stubborn. To when your signals turn back to bullish or turn to bearish, to do whatever the signals say. Whatever the signals say, if you follow the signals, you're going to be right most of the time. Try to be disciplined in that, and that's why I flipped. And again, notice we got red bars right here after we got that lower high. I talked about all of that. We had that rally back up. I told you it was going to sell into the rally, and again, the bars are red. We talked about all of this back at the time. I remain short-term bearish. I have a short position for the short term, still holding my long-term core position. Going to do absolutely nothing with that. I'm going to hold that multiple months. I have two different accounts that I've separated my trading and longer term hold. I'm free to trade Bitcoin back and forth. So I think a counter trend rally, and then I think the orange line is going to cross below the purple line, and you'll end up getting a bigger sell-off. Here's another one here. I got a bullish signal again. I got these bullish bottoming signals at Sunday's close, and that's why I posted that post on X. Signals are still bearish. Bars are still red, but again, nothing goes straight down, nothing goes straight up. Again, likely a counter trend, much like this sell signal was a counter trend. These sell signals, or these bullish signals right here, counter trend, and second one actually ended up failing. No indicators perfect, but you can see right here, again, got a bullish signal here, ended up counter trend. Eventually we got a bottom, no signal mark there, but again, oftentimes these signals can mark tops and bottoms. This could be a bottom. I doubt it. See, the signals all begin to turn back to bullish. It's likely just a counter trend. So my signals, which are correct, remain bearish. I remain short on Bitcoin with my swing trade position. Again, we rallied, got that lower high, told you about when I flipped the trade. Bitcoin's had a sell-off for several days. Most, again, like out of the last days, 5 have been down of the previous trading days, and we got that topping tail previous 7 days ago, really 8 if you include today's bar. we're overdue for a counter trend bounce. Here, remember at the peak right here, I told you there was no sell signal. So there's still a possibility we try to hit the 114,000 trend the trend line at 114,000. Then we got the lower high again, got all the warning signs down over here, and then we got that another lower high. I told you about at the time. I turned back to bearish, and I told you we likely have a peak over here, and we've likely started the larger correction, which I've said. But again, you can see we've got a short-term bottoming signal. Signals are still bearish. This is likely just a counter trend rally. Much like the sell signal here, much like the bottoming signal here. A big drop here, and so we got a bigger rebound. We're probably getting a counter trend and then going to resume the decline. But signals do a good job. I mean, they've marked tops, they've marked bottoms. This could be a bottom, but more likely a counter trend rally, in my opinion, unless my signals turn back to bullish. Again, not seeing enough evidence that a bottom is in. We're going to reach the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement. Now, again, I talked about how we're going flatline. You see this little green line? It went orange and it went flatlined. It's now turning red. And the ribbon here was green, and now that is red. It went sideways. It went from red to green. Now red, and then this little line with the circles right here, that line went from blue back and forth, from blue to red, and it's now red. So again, the signals are bearish. I think it's a counter trend, but my signals did trigger a short-term bottom on Sunday's close, which I did post immediately after that happened there on X at Charting Prodigy, and I post some Bitcoin videos there and some on the stock market. Again, I believe it's a counter trend rally unless my signals all begin to turn back to bullish. Remember, I told you the Bollinger Bands here were tightening, telling us something was about to happen. Ended up that we took out the support zone with that. So again, you're trying to claw our way back above it right now, but signals, the damage has been done. The signals are bearish. So again, we're likely going to stall around that 50-period moving average that I've talked about. If the rally can continue, it might be lower than I think, but that 50-period around 105,000. I also posted in that post after Sunday's close on X, I posted that I'm getting another signal that's trying to flip right here with the Monday session, and that's what we have right here, and that's what I was talking about. Again, these signals marked short-term corrections. This one's marking right here. This signal right here is marking a larger correction or a short-term reversal now with a lower high and lower low. Again, the signals have done a good job in marking counter trends. And again, oftentimes these changes, they tell me when changes in momentum is about to happen, but marking the December top, the January top, the bottom over here, April, our first double bottom, the first bottom of the double bottom pattern. So again, signals do a good job, but this is telling me, again, we're likely in a counter trend rally right now. Signals, as you can see here, are still bearish. They flip bearish, and we're this signal, so it's probably a counter trend, and it'll be followed by more selling. Unless my signals could all begin to turn back to bullish, my guess is we're going to get a bigger sell-off, and this is a counter trend rally. Now here you can see again, we got that lower high, lower low. Bars are red. The background is red. The line circles is red. As long as the signals remain bearish, the bears are in control. Likely going to see a counter trend and a bigger sell-off. Usually, like right now, they're saying it's a bottom, it's a bottom, just like they said over here, it's a breakout, it's a breakout, you know. And what happened? Bitcoin topped. And again, I told you we were going to get a pullback here. I still thought we'd reach 114,000 at that point, but told you I could change my mind, which I ended up doing. Talked about both the that being a peak or going to 114,000 and being a peak. We want to be disciplined. We want to follow our signals. How to do that? Follow my signals. I'm going to be successful. If I'm bullheaded and insist on Bitcoin doing what I insist that it does and throw a little temper tantrum, then I'm not going to be successful. So again, the idea is to win and to make money. In order to be able to be successful and to win and make money, you have to be flexible. Now I'm short-term bearish. I think we get a bounce, but I think I'm still short-term bearish, and long-term bearish. Think Bitcoin will set up a higher low, as I've said. So again, signals here bearish. Absolutely incredible signals. Signal here is telling us we're going sideways. We're likely now going down. Over here we went down. went sideways. You can see that, see, and then went up. So the signals tell me when we're going up, down, and sideways. And now I think we're resuming a downward move after going sideways, resuming the decline that started over here. I warned you, again, we flipped the cloud back to red over here after we got that lower high, and I warned you about this. And again, even this rally with the lower high, I told you we were going to likely get a lower high right there. I was turning bearish right there is because we had this lower high and expected another one, larger ABC correction. Signals are bearish momentum. Flip back to bearish there after going sideways. Bars flip back to red. We drop below the cloud. We're still below the cloud. As long as we're still below the cloud, we can go much lower. Like I said, I think we go to the 87,000 to 93,000 area. More than likely getting a mid-sized or smaller Fibonacci retracement. I don't think we go down to the 61.8 fib or the 78.6. We could if we try to backtest the double bottom breakout right here. That's certainly possible that we go, that's 88,500, the 61.8 Fibonacci, 87,000. I think it might be more contained underneath the 100 period near the 50% retracement. But again, either way, whichever way it plays out. So again, signals absolutely incredible. Turning bearish over here in December, flipping the cloud after that, tried to flip to blue bars, couldn't do it. Bars turned back to red, flipped back to blue, got above the cloud here, flipped it to green. Bars back and forth, blue to red, sideways, and then again dropping below the red. That turns us bearish. So again, I remain bearish. I closed my long position and went short because I talked about all these signals back at the time. But I was probably wrong about reaching the 114,000 area. This was likely a short-term top, likely already begun the larger pullback. Now, if we look at the Bitcoin futures, we do have that bearish reversal of conditions from Friday. We got it on the IBIT ETF on Thursday. We now have the awesome oscillator going negative. MACD is not there yet. This is the Bitcoin futures daily chart. But again, we've gapped lower. We're trying to rebound. We're probably going to rebound and resume the decline. I've got some bottoming signals. If you follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at Charting Prodigy, I should say, posted on Sunday after Sunday's close that I got 4 different signals that are suggesting that we're bottoming for getting a short-term bottom. It is probably not the bottom. We're probably just getting a bounce. But you can see, I bring it up close here, we've got the reversal of conditions. Got that on Friday. We're below the 10 and 20 period moving average here with Bitcoin futures. We've gapped lower, and then we're trying to rebound back up. We'll probably get a counter trend and then end up going much lower, moving towards the 200 period moving average. You've got the Bitcoin futures gap fill down here at the 91,000. We got the gap fill over here about 91,000 or so. Again, I think that we're eventually going to go between about 87,000 to 93,000 on the Bitcoin price, and probably something similar to that here with the Bitcoin futures. So again, even though we're attempting to rebound, it's probably just a counter trend. Even though I'm getting bottoming signals, it's likely just a counter trend for Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin futures daily chart. IBIT ETF got the bearish reversal of conditions on Thursday. I talked about this last update. Again, we gapped lower, went a little bit lower, tried to rebound at the moment off of the lows. We're down about 0.5% with the IBIT ETF, but the awesome oscillator is going negative. Again, probably get a bigger rebound and then resume the decline.